Hey guys, how are you all doing? So many of you have recently been asking me about my thoughts on the state of Symmetra and where she's at, whether she's too weak and needs a buff or a rework, and what sort of changes I would make so that she's more viable in competitive play. Well, here are my thoughts. I don't know if you guys remember, but when Overwatch first came out, Symmetra was always a hero that was just kinda there and didn't really receive much attention. In a way, she was overshadowed by the likes of Mercy and Lucio, who were easy to pick up and had kits that could complement any team. And since the beginning, Symmetra's lack of heals and largely defensive abilities meant that she was really only viable on the first point of defense. So Blizzard decided to give her a rework in an attempt to make her viable in all modes, but fast forward a few months and it's quite clear that the rework didn't go exactly as planned. Before I discuss the core issues with Symmetra, I will say that yes, there are players like Stevo and Nut, amongst many others, who have achieved a high rank with her despite her existing problems, but this doesn't change the fact that Symmetra is still seen as a troll pick in most games, and that people will readily flame and blame Symmetra players even if they're objectively doing fine. Now, Symmetra is not by any stretch a weak character. She has a lock-on beam that does incredible damage every second and has the potential to chain kill if left unchecked. She also has incredibly strong defensive ultimates that can often save matches if used properly. Unfortunately, she also has serious weaknesses, which is probably why many people hate Symmetra mains and prefer not to have her on the team beyond the first point of defense. For one, she takes up a support role but has absolutely no healing abilities unlike the other 5 support characters, and so she's seen as a waste of a pick on offensive modes. Yes, we can argue that she's a hybrid offense-defense hero, but given people's mindsets around playing meta, most people will not be willing to run her with 2 other supports. Secondly, Symmetra either destroys or gets destroyed, and there's rarely a match where there's an in-between. She has her fair share of counters in the game, as does every hero, but when she does get countered, she gets countered very hard, which links back to the fact that she can't heal. There's a reason why you never hear about an Ana or a Mercy being countered, because they're still seen as being useful to the team for their healing capabilities. The only exception to this is the first point on defense again, because people are willing to give Symmetra a chance and are okay with losing the first point provided that she switches off afterwards. By the same token, if you have a Symmetra player on your team and you win a somewhat even game, then she'll be seen as being carried because she's not meta and her abilities outside of microwave are largely passive and aren't as directly noticeable as a constant heal. She could have had her shield generator up for an entire match, but people will not notice because it's all in the background. Of course there are exceptions to this, but mostly that's the case. Another problem with Symmetra is that her effectiveness is very imbalanced across platforms and ranks. This could be a generalization, but I think it's true that she performs better on console compared to PC, simply because people have a harder time aiming using a controller, and Symmetra doesn't really require much aim in the first place. At the same time, she does incredibly well at low ranks because she doesn't need aim again, and people down in bronze, silver or gold often don't have the coordination or the game sense to counter her. This situation is flipped around when you reach ranks such as Grandmaster or top 500. Having said that, I think that Symmetra really needs a rework as opposed to a simple buff in order to be viable in competitive play. What that rework should be, I can't tell you right now, but ideally it would allow her to be as viable on offense as she is on defense. I know that Blizzard has stated in the past that they don't want Symmetra to be a healer and want her to be a more unique builder type of support, but at the same time, healing is something that people look for in supports, so I feel like she would need an ability that could replace healing but provide just as much continuous utility for her team. Now, looking back at when Overwatch just came out, Symmetra's alternate ability was basically giving shields to teammates, and this wasn't a bad idea. It was just that the shields were too small and negligible, so maybe that could be something that Blizzard could rework and bring back to kit. Nevertheless, I really do feel that Blizzard has been neglecting some of the heroes for way too long, especially Symmetra and Mei, while allowing heroes such as Junkrat and Winston to be insanely strong and almost be a guaranteed pick in every fight. Even if Blizzard doesn't want to rework Symmetra, there's so much that they can do with the current kit to make her feel much better to play, not just for the player but for their teammates as well. In fact, a few of you guys have commented some amazing ideas that I think would work really well. For example, Void suggested having the ability to toggle Symmetra's shield so that it can stay still as opposed to moving forwards and breaking after 2 seconds, and I think that's genius, although it could make her a bit too strong on defense. Another suggestion was by the Renegade Star, who said that her TP and shield gens should be visible like hacked health packs, and this is something that is so ridiculously simple yet important, but still hasn't been implemented in the game for whatever reason. Allowing teammates to see where you put your ulti at all times would make it so much easier to protect, and is a quality of life change that is long overdue. So to wrap up this video, Symmetra is falling into a worse and worse place by the minute, and Blizzard should really think about giving her another rework. I know that most of us love her as she is currently, but I think the community as a whole wouldn't mind if her kit was given a refresh so that Symmetra mains can viably play her without having to worry about being flamed or reported for no reason. In the meantime, I highly encourage you guys who exclusively play Symmetra to think about maybe picking up another hero, not just because she's in a bad place, but also because the report system is quite a mess and you probably don't want to get banned. I've been having a lot of fun with Moira lately actually, so maybe she's a hero you could look into picking up along with Symmetra. As always, thank you so much for watching, and sorry about this long rant. If you have any comments or suggestions, please let me know, and subscribe if you like this video or would like to see more videos like this on my channel. See you next time.